Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Wise Build Bridges. The Wise Build Bridges is a podcast brought to you by Viaduct Generation. We are the growth partner for purpose-driven e-com brands, and today I am joined by Tanya from Diversido. Tanya, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, listen, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It looks very warm where you are. Where are you today?
I'm in south of France, Sofia Antipolis. Very nice place. They name it French Silicon Valley. It's probably a bit of a stretch, but it's a lot of IT happening here, like a part of Paris, a lot of startups, a lot of big companies. It's like a home place for Amadeus as well. So that's like a big company here, but a lot of startup ecosystem, innovation hubs and other things. So I live between Sofia and London.
Sounds amazing. Please, well, next time you're in London, give us a shout. We can go and grab a coffee or something. But it really does look so beautiful out there where you are. But enough about the weather. Let's talk about you and about what it is that Diversido do. Let's start with that. For those that aren't aware, what do Diversido do?
We do software for startups and small and medium companies. So creating all types of mobile web applications, beautiful designs, engagement product ideas. We are focused mostly in IoT, health tech and ed tech areas, but not limited to that. Also, I run my own startup in health tech. So I'm kind of wearing shoes of my clients as well. So building my own software is a bit different than building something for others. So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. I bet, are you a good customer for yourself or not?
No, I am too demanding. Because I am a bit of a perfectionist myself, and that's why that is always difficult for my team to satisfy me. So sometimes I'm more difficult client than our clients are.
Tell me a little bit about your day-to-day role. I mean, I know that you're heading up Diversido, and I'm sure there's a number of hats that you're wearing on a day-to-day basis. But when you aren't joined by podcasters and when you aren't on a podcast, tell me, what does your day-to-day look like?
So in my company, my main role is business development. So that's actually marketing and sales. And so lately, I think that the last year, that is mostly marketing. So I'm so interested in this topic, and I'm exploring, especially with the appearance of AI, that it became so much easier to do some. But from other hands, it still require a lot of time, a lot of knowledge, and so that's what I do. Also, I run a couple of client projects as well, my favorite ones. So a lot of hats. You're right.
You mentioned there that AI has kind of enabled you to restrict the amount of people, and you could potentially do with one or two people what you had to do with a team before. What are some tasks that you've completely let go of and kind of let AI just do most of the heavy lifting? But what things are you doing kind of more manually still?
There is none of the functions that I totally delegated to AI. So I still have this 80%, 20% rule. So no more than 80% can be delegated to AI. So there is always should be human overseeing, and AI is good for shaping the idea, but generating the idea and implementing it's at least for now, I do not see it possible. So there is still human. They need to tell AI what to do, and they need to check the results, polish it, make it sound as us, make it do exactly what it's supposed to do.
I completely agree with you. The moment we let control and we let AI just take control, then how do we create that difference? It really is about making sure that we continue to express ourselves, and we continue to make sure that we are the driving force behind AI and not the other way around. But going from a practical perspective, because this podcast is all about practical tips and insightful pointers that people can learn from and connect. I wanted to ask you if there was any AI tools that you personally have found that really give you time back. Which are some of the ones that have just absolutely changed your life in the last year or so?
I think I'm not very original here. So ChatGPT GPT with custom GPTs. So that's my thing. What I realized that not that many people still use, and I think they should, is setting up their own custom GPTs. So that's you do it in ChatGPT interface, and you can set up GPTs for particular roles and give them all the relevant information about you, what you like, how you want research to be done, or I don't know, text written and everything like that. And so that's what I'm using a lot. So I have custom GPTs for different functions in my daily routine. Also, I use a lot Gamma. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but that's a very useful tool to come up with a very quick presentation that look nice, and you can just give your information there. It will visualize it nicely, and you can just share it with the client. Excellent for proposals, for some reports and other things. So that's what I use a lot. Also some images generation tools like DALL-E. So nothing extravagant there, but I'm now trying to use Webflow AI for website because we do websites with Webflow and Framer, and we do it manually most of the time. And now I'm trying to explore how we can speed this up for us and for our clients with Webflow AI or Framer via Framer. Record the video about it. The results are still not great, so I think that it would not be possible to go without manual interaction from the designers especially. But I think that probably the further new pages creation, so that would be a good tool. And also what I think in our business is going to be more and more growing is some no-code or low-code solutions with AI. So vibe coding becoming more and more popular. I still haven't seen the app purely done with Lovable or something similar that works good and everybody is happy about it, but I know they exist. So I'm not saying that that's unexistent, but I just haven't seen them myself. So I think that so I'm starting to look into them and try to get a little knowledge in this area, giving these tasks to my developers as well. My developer, they're using a lot of Cursor help with Copilot in their coding. And what else? Yeah, I think that's it.
That's really useful. I am what I would consider a vibe coder with absolutely zero coding experience and extravagant ideas. I have invented a couple of software applications using Lovable, which I will no doubt share with you after this podcast. One of them is that I've just used in and around my family, as a bit of a joke, which is fun. And one of them I've actually used in my own life as a way to moderate alcohol consumption. It's something that I personally am trying to kind of veer away from, but I'm trying to find space in the Dure who has a couple of beers, or as opposed to just being completely stop drinking forever and ever, So I've actually built an app to kind of moderate my alcohol allowance, and I've called it Alcohol Allowance, which I'll share with you afterwards. I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm imagining people are coming to you with this now and say, hey, Tanya, look what I've built. These are the challenges I have. Can you make it a real thing? Can you turn it into a real boy Pinocchio vibes? Whereas previously they'd come to you with a bullet point list. So am I right? Firstly, am I right? Is that the way that people are now engaging with you? And two, if so, how has that changed your kind of the process upon at least the initial impact or initial start of projects?
You're right. So sometimes now people come and say, okay, so I made this with Lovable, but it's not working exactly as I want. And it's it needs to be turned to something more scalable, secure, and other things. But also sometimes people still come with us to us with the bullet points, but they expect us to make something super fast, super cheap, and just to have the prototype or proof of concept in a couple of weeks rather than a couple of months as it used to be before, which is also interesting task. And that's what I feel a very, very big potential for AI, because I mean that, to build a scalable, secure solution with the complex backend and complex logic, I think it's still too early, probably somewhere in the future. But to build the little MVP or prototype. That's perfect. So that is something that we are embracing very quickly. So there are some tools not fully AI, so we are using, because with AI it's a bit so it's cool to experiment for example, for my startup I will be experimenting more, but with our clients, we want to deliver them some quality standards, and predictable results. So that's why we are using like some semi AI solutions. So it still like has a lot of manual work to make sure that everything is organized and good quality, and we will not have any issues after that. But we are going to this way. So that is changing our industry a lot. I am not afraid of it. I mean that I hear a lot around like AI is taking our jobs and other similar like concerns. I am not concerned. I mean that AI is definitely not taking my job. I think that it just makes me more efficient, and the same with like my team. So we need to adapt. For sure, everybody does, but it will probably replace people who don't want to change their ways and want to keep like their job the same as it used to be 10 years ago. So probably yes, in this case they will not survive long. But if you're open-minded, if you're ready to try something new, you will just become more powerful. So you will become more valuable. So I don't think that AI will take our jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the marketing world as well, everyone's concerned. And I think you put it right. AI is not coming to take your job, but the person that adapts to AI is going to take your job. Let's talk a little bit about customer acquisition, because you mentioned that you were mostly focusing on the business development side. You manage a couple of projects that you really love from clients that no doubt you're keen to support on. But a lot of your job, your day-to-day is in that sales and marketing functions. And a lot of people who listen to this are sales leaders, marketeers, and business developers. So we're here to spread insightful knowledge and to pass on the things that have worked. Tell me a little bit about your focus on acquisition, and what strategies have you implemented that you've seen great success with over the last few years?
Majority of our new clients are still coming from the recommendations. So that's, that's not that much in marketing effort, but rather doing a good job and having the happy clients who recommend us to their friends or come back to us with their new projects or some additional things for the existing ones. But from the new clients from the marketing or sales channel. So what I see that, and the lesson that I learned, that we should have started to invest in marketing earlier, because first years we were focusing mostly on outbound sales and trying to find the hot leads out there instead of generating demand, instead of making people know about us. Also from what I see, and that what works for me, the personal brand, it's more powerful marketing than approach rather than brand. Trying to build brand awareness, because people buy from people and people are much more engaging with the content that comes from myself, where I share in my ideas, my experience, rather than the company website or company LinkedIn or any other social media. So that's what I think that I would recommend to anyone, is to try to build awareness, try to build their personal brands, founder brands as soon as you found the business. You need to do it, maybe baby steps, but still. Also, what I would recommend, to work with good people. And if you do not see results, especially when it comes to marketing, when it's very measurable. So there are a lot of metrics you can take. You should put some measurable goals and track how they are being achieved. And if you see the constant not achieving the goals, so probably you're trying to address it and nothing changes. So you shouldn't stay too long with this marketing agency or whoever you're working with, because that means that you probably have a different approach, different expectations. So better find the right one and work with them rather than postpone this decision and because I made this mistake. So I worked with the agency, they didn't deliver the result I wanted, but I thought, but they know me, they know my business, and maybe the next month or the next quarter. And, there is always something that could probably explain the thing, but no, usually you just better change and find somebody who has who will make this happen. Yep. That's my observations and my ideas on this.
I think you're absolutely right. I think particularly in like service-based businesses, having that kind of founder-led marketing and leaning on your personal brand as a bit of a growth lever is really a smart move. You mentioned there that kind of building your personal brand, you wish you did it a little bit earlier, and that kind of far superior to a lot of the agency support that you actually bought into from a marketing perspective. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the personal branding kind of strategies that you're doing besides for getting featured on wonderful podcasts like this?
It's valuable content. I mean that I don't think that I will say some unique tips or silver bullets because that's more or less what everybody say to you should do. But know your audience, know their pain, and tell them how to address it. Also, build in like real relationship with your audience. I mean, there is nothing worse than like, I don't know, bot generated answers to comments or something like that. Don't sell all the time. You just share some knowledge, share some personal information, show that you're a person and not just a function. Also, consistency, that's very important. That also what I realized that better to have like 3 posts per week than 7 one week and nothing the next one. So I am personally a very energy dependent person. So when I'm like on my energy peak, I can do a lot. I record videos, I comment, I post and do everything. But then, it follows with the low energy. So probably if you are this type of person, you just prepare for it. So have some content stored for the future and schedule the posts or something similar if you know that you will have this low energy moment. And I think that what is also very important is to be genuine. I mean, not try to copy some other style, but try to find your own. And that's what I'm trying to do now.
So tell me then, how do we balance authenticity with more strategic posts? Because I myself, I like documenting my journey. I like demonstrating the highs and the lows. And I want to share that with my audience. And I want to connect in a way that's authentic. I also want them to consider Viaduct Generation as the go-to agency for all things e-commerce acquisition for purpose-driven businesses. AKA, if you have an e-commerce business that's making the world a better place and you want to get more people to the website, higher conversion rates, or to increase the lifetime value of your customers, I want them to think Viaduct Generation. So I'm balancing my genuine, authentic, this is my life founder stories with here are the 5 things you need to do to ensure your website is accessible. Here are the 10 things that you need to do to ensure that you adapt to the search strategies in 2026. Here's how you rank in AI overviews. Here's how you get ChatGPT to mention your brand. But sometimes I'm at a miss to focus on how much like founder-led stories. Hey, this is a picture of me playing cricket, or hey, this is me on my commute to work, or hey, this is a book I've read, versus here are the 5 strategies to AI overview visibility. How do you kind of balance that difference between strategic lead generation-y thought leadership versus true authenticity?
What I think that even your strategic thoughts, they are still your thoughts. And that's important. I mean that you have your own vision, you have your own approach, and that's what makes you and your company yourself. So that's why in my opinion, like this authenticity is not about just sharing personal stories and like photos of your dog or something. It's more about sharing your true vision. So you really believe that those like 5 ways to increase the conversion or something, and that's you've seen it working for your clients and other things. So that's true story, and that just not some general content taken from somewhere. So that's still you, even if it's speaking business or sales or anything. So that's it. It is not the opposite things. It's just, different sides of the same, true story of you and your business. the general balance is usually if like you're posting 3 times per week, so you will have like 3, let's say, categories. One is educational, useful, showing your experience and your thing that you can share with the other, and probably this goes to the category of your sales and lead generation type of posts. And the other is personal, those like personal stories, personal like beliefs, but no politics, religion or something, obviously. And the third one is some social proof. So stories of your clients, stories of people who you helped or who you talked to. So like, this seeing that all those ideas, they are not only on your head, but they are also working for other people as well. So that's like, if those 3 components are balanced in your feed, so then it will be good combination. Because if it will be too much of one of them, it will feel a bit weird, because it's like, anyway, it's not a personal blog, or I don't know, not an Instagram stories, but rather somehow related to business. So you should share some value that your business does to other businesses or to other business people who are, if we are talking about LinkedIn. But the same, if it's too much salesy things, it will feel not like a personal brand, but more like a company brand, and this personal connection will be lost. And I think that it would be too difficult to get that much social proof posts if the whole feed would contain of them.
Yeah, that's really useful, balancing that as well. I think that social proof is a good one as well, like finding ways to demonstrate what you've done, but also being you. And I think also like doing it authentically, right? Phone in hand, walk and talk, founder led, me talking to the camera, versus these like extravagant, well put together videos. They communicate a totally different message. And I think making sure that if you are trying to get something that really connects with the audience, doing it in that founder led approach that is more raw, authentic. And if a truck drives past while you're walking and talking, that's okay. That's real life. And I think that's really interesting. Okay, so let's rewind all the way back to the start of your career, when you were a bit younger, a bit more naive. You had lots to learn. You were full of energy. You hadn't had any of the experience that you've now got. But if you were to whisper in your ear some of the wisdom that you have now, what would you whisper into your ear, let's say 10 years ago?
Okay, that's good. 10 years ago, I have just founded Diversido. What I would whisper to myself? I would whisper that don't trust your partner. He will leave soon. I would say that start doing marketing right now. Don't wait until you have money, until you have time. Just start with that. Focus on that. Focus on recurring revenue. That is the core and the soul of the business. All the projects that come and go, they do not bring that much value as loyal clients who stay with you all the time and who bring you even small but predictable amount. That for sure. I would say that find a new partner. It's a bit tough to do the business on your own. It's a bit lonely to be between clients and employees and having the responsibility for both of them. So partner with somebody. Don't take things too serious, because clients, people, that's a very important, like extremely valuable part of our life. But don't forget yourself, don't forget your family, your friends, because that's another part that is not less, probably even more important. But we have a tendency with all the responsibilities to forget to spend the quality time with our close ones. And I would remind me that that's important. Not only close ones, but ourselves as well, because self-care, self-joy, and happiness is the ultimate goal why we are doing all those. And it's important to remember about it.
I was actually going to ask you, why do you do what you do?
I'm asking this question myself too. I like running my own businesses because it gives me a freedom of choice what to do, what to try. I am a very curious person in nature, and I am like very motivated by the new things, by the new ideas, and I have this opportunity to implement them, to try. Having freedom of choice doesn't mean more free time. To be honest, I think the opposite. But for me, it really worth it. Also, that's nice to be able to choose who you work with, both with the client and people. So I love my clients and I love my people, and that's because I choose ones I like.
Tell me a little bit about that. You've led the agency now for a number of years. You've chosen great people that you like to work with. Besides for getting like a good feeling or like a gut feeling, what are some of the big white flags that you look for when hiring?
Actually, you mentioned gut feeling, and that's what is the main criteria I am looking at when hiring, because I had a lot of cases when I hired person just because I like them, and probably if they were not that excellent in the technical skills that we were checking on during the interview, but I decided to give them a chance, and they never disappointed me. So I would even say that those guys who I hired more like against the interview results, but because I trusted my intuition, they were one of the best hires ever. And the opposite. So if everything like looks very good, but my intuition says that, okay, I'm still not sure. I don't know why, but it's like, I know that I want to find something. Why not hire this person? I also trust this feeling. So because it will, again, all the cases when I said, okay, but it looks good, all the needed experience, well past all the tasks. So let's be objective and just hire them. And it turned out to be some like still not cultural fit or something similar. Yeah, so my intuition is my primary thing. But apart from that, what we are looking for is people who share the same values as I share and as we share as the company. So I really like people who own their tasks. So the problem ownership is one of the important soft skills that I'm looking for, because that's like when you are trusted some part of the project, you should make sure that it's done, even if it's not depending on you, but you know somebody who should do it, but you feel the responsibilities. You go and you make it happen rather than, just pointing fingers and other things. So that is no go for sure. Positive and constructive attitude. So don't bring the problem, bring the solution. And I really believe in that. Also, we have this expression in Ukrainian, but I don't know the proper English translation, but that's more or less like the person who clearly speaks, they clearly think. So that's about people who can express themselves clearly, more likely to be to have more clear minds. So they will also, especially for the engineers, so that means that their architecture of their solutions will be better. Their approach will be simple and effective. So that's another thing that I'm paying attention during the interview. Also, honesty, transparency. So I really like people who are straightforward and not trying to be sneaky and try to do multiple jobs at the same time, or being not 100% available for the client or something. So that is no go for us as well. Yep. So that's more or less in communication. It's part of what we are checking is because I personally believe that effective communication is the key for successful collaboration, because I've seen cases when people who did the excellent job, but were especially developers, they are not always too communicative types, but clients were still not satisfied because they didn't hear from them enough, or they were not sure what is happening there. And the opposite cases, even if we had some problem or bug in system, but we communicated it very clearly and we said, okay, we are on it, we are doing that, we are solving it. So clients, they were, because these things happen. to anybody. So they understood and they didn't have any problems with that. So I think that effective communication is also a very important skill that everybody should master, especially now.
I think that's so interesting. I think effective communication, absolutely. We have it on our side as well. At Viaduct Generation, we are oftentimes the go-between the e-commerce entrepreneur, the techie developer, and the content creator, the creative content. And in between all three of those sits Viaduct, right? And enabling these brands to gain more visibility. We do need more cohesion and some more communication. You also mentioned something quite interesting earlier about self-care and about ensuring that you kind of present as the best version of yourself, because I think that those two things are in some way interlinked. Because if I am not there for myself, and if I'm not at my best, then how can I expect to get the best from my developers or my writers or my PRs? You know, how can I truly expect to get the best from my account managers or my project managers? And I don't think you can. So when you aren't working on Diversido, when you are not helping your developers navigate a project, and when you are not speaking to clients, what do you do to make sure that you show up for yourself? And what self-care elements should all founders and marketeers be looking into?
I think that I probably not the ideal in this. I'm still trying to take better care of myself. But what I would recommend is to pause, not forget to pause. And I'm trying to have once per week 2 or 3 hours, book this slot in my calendar. Don't check any work communication, and just go to restaurant, nice cafe or something, take yourself a coffee, and just reflect what is happening, what are your thoughts about what, just probably offload these all the tasks that you're having, just write them down or something, but with pen and paper, or some electronic devices allowed, but just if you use them as a notebook or something. And remember about your some goals or something that you want to achieve, and look at all those tasks and if they are moving you closer to your goals or actually not. Also, I would recommend to have the strategic planning for your life, not only for your work or your business, because sometimes we are every year we are planning what we are going to have in our company, setting some goals, checking the milestones and other things. But usually our goals for our personal life, starting and ending with New Year resolutions, more or less. So that's also important to have maybe as much in the future planning as possible. I mean that I'm more tactical person rather than strategic, so that's very difficult for me to see longer than 3 years, both in business and in my personal life. But at least try it 3 years. What do you want to achieve? And not only achieve in terms of achieving money or assets or something, but also do you want to stay healthy? Do you want to have a good relationship with those people? Do you want to have people to have relationship with, and all other things? And try to at least have some plan how you're going to achieve it, at least approximate, and check with this plan again, quarterly or whatever period works good for you. Also, what we often forget to do is to prioritize some exercise. So I'm a lazy person as well. I hate gym and other things, but find what you do like, or at least don't hate, and try to be consistent with it as well. So when it get into the routine, it is done automatically already. So walking, exercise is something we really need it, especially when we are getting older. That becomes more and more important. And sleep. It is something we always try to trade off those additional hours in day at the expense of our sleep, and that's not a very smart way to go. So we really need to do the opposite, because if you had a good rest, if you that's the way to replenish the energy, and you can do more during the day, and you would not need those extra hours that you're not sleeping. So, but that's easier to say than do, but that's those are really important aspects. And also not sacrifice time with your family, with your friends to your work, because it could at some moment you can regret it, especially if you have younger kids. So that's some time that would be difficult to catch up, probably with your grandchildren, like another 20 or 30 years in the future.
I feel like that's fantastic advice for all founders and marketeers who are busy doing 20,000 things, but to reflect, slow down, reflect on some of the things, to assess how you're going in your own life, and to build kind of between where you are now and where you want to get to, like habits and actions that you can implement. I think the key thing for me that I've realized is say taking these big grand goals of like, I want to lose weight, or I want to be healthier, or I want to be fitter, and actually be like, okay, what does that look like? And setting myself really strategic and attainable and measurable goals that I can either pass or fail. And it's okay if I just fail, and I just fail by a little bit. That's also not the end of the world, because at least I've attempted to get somewhere, and I'm certainly a lot closer to getting where I wanted to get to prior to that. So I think a lot of that is really good advice, and also to remember why we do this. The reason why we do this is for a lot of people because they want that extra freedom. And it is the freedom not to fill your diary with more stuff and to be more busy, but actually to utilize that freedom to the benefit of those that you care about and to be more present. And I think a lot of your advice is incredibly valuable for founders. Let's get into a little bit more technical advice before I say goodbye. When do I want to move from my vibe coding, playing around on Lovable and AI agents and these kind of vibe coding platforms, and when do I want to speak to a company like Diversido?
I think that it really depends on your strategy and why are you doing this and playing with the vibe coding. So if you want to create an app for your family or friends, so probably you should just do it and don't come to us. If you want to scale and if you want to get some new things, because what I realized that it's more or less easy to build some simple and small thing, but if you want to expand it and add new functionality, it's not always do like as you want it to do. So if you want to change it, if you want to make sure that your code is still like, it will work on the bigger amount of users. If it needs to be tested, if you want to publish it or do something further with it. So in this case, you can come again to company like mine to do the code review, to suggest maybe some adjustments to make it more reliable, to do the proper testing, cross devices testing or something similar. So that really depends on your solution. Or if you want to use it as a prototype and do more scalable things, what I see a lot in the startup. So now almost all startups, they want to integrate AI, and AI is not so good in integrating AI into their solutions. So that's another thing that people often come to us. So even if they have, so what I can say that it's easy to do front end of the app, so the screens and other things. So it's easy, but it's also pretty easy to do with us or with a similar company. But what is more difficult is more complex logic, like setting up the AI agent that is doing inside your app what you want to do. Building the secure backend, make sure that everything is like HIPAA compliant if it's health care or GDPR or anything similar. So you need, before going to the public and making the app available to the wider audience, you just need to make sure that it's working properly. The same with the design. So from what I see from the AI generated solutions, they look okay. So I mean that they look decent, but some people want to make their apps like beautiful, and that's not always accessible with the AI tools. So that's another reason why people come to us. Okay, build that prototype, but I need it to be nice with like similar to this app or something like that.
Okay. So if you want your app to be reliable, scalable, secure, then you go to a company like Diversido. But if you wanted to just be in your life, or you wanted to not be on the App Store, but you wanted to just be accessible to you and maybe 5 of your others, then don't worry about it, right? And tell me a little bit about What are the more interesting things that you're seeing coming out now? You mentioned there AI agents not so good at integrating AI, but with everyone wanting everything to be AI native these days, what do you envision is going to be swallowed up, or what do you think is going to take the biggest support from AI?
I think that all the industries will have a lot of support from AI. I think that probably very physical ones, like not digital solutions, still they will be affected, but not that much. Like, I don't know, renovation, development in terms of like physical building something. I don't know, beauty industry, something that's related to our bodies. I mean, it will still be affected. I mean that wellness, a lot of like the data processing, some recommendations, other things. But still, if you need to exercise, it needs to be done by you, not by the AI. Or some like similar offline experiences. I think that they will be affected not that much. But all the digital solutions, all the even the like anything that can be automated, and it was not automated before, it will be automated with the AI for sure in all the industries. What I think will not so, because now a lot of companies, they're trying to build something purely on just on customizing the AI agent and making it their type of business. I think that this is probably not, it's not so promising in terms of that the AI system, they're all constantly evolving. And for example, it doesn't make sense now to make, I don't know, the wellness coach based on the AI as a separate business, because you can just write the prompt to, I don't know, ChatGPT, act as a wellness coach who, I don't know, follows this and that approach and give me the daily reminders or something, so that you need to add some additional value to the AI to make it to make it qualify as a separate business. So that's what I think, but everything will be affected. So whatever you do now, just look at the AI and how you can make it better with the AI.
And if you were speaking to someone that said, sorry, what does AI mean? And you were going, oh my goodness, you've got so much to learn. What are the 2 or 3 places that you would recommend them to look at so that they can upskill their knowledge on AI agents, and what's happening in the future?
I would give them ChatGPT link and ask them, tell me about the AI as if I were 90 years old grandma who never heard about it, and start from there. I think that now even my 7 years old daughter using ChatGPT at the moment, so that is something that I'm sure people can manage to do. Starting from there, asking for the advice like you would ask your friend or somebody. And again, you can define the level of complexity and how deep they go into the technical detail when they are explaining something.
Tanya, it has been nothing short of a pleasure having you on the Wise Build Bridges. Thank you so much. For those that want you to build them an amazing application, for those that want to ask you some questions, or for those that want extra critique at their lovable app that they've developed, where can people find you?
They can find me in LinkedIn. They can find me in Instagram. Also, our website, diversido.io. There are more information about not only about me, but about the team, about our clients, about our services.
Amazing.
More than welcome.
Thank you so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure, and thanks so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom. For those listening, that about gets us done for today. That about wraps us up. Remember, the wise build bridges. The wise do not build walls. It's not about who knows you or what you know, but it's about who knows what you know. So share your insights, share your advice, share your wisdom, and together we are better. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you again on the internet real soon. Cheers for now.
Thank you.